Good morning and welcome to Purple Mumbles live stream. A bit of an unusual situation going on at the moment around the world as everybody's gradually from country to country locking down to try and get ahead of the COVID-19. So I was talking to number one son, and since we're going to be spending a few weeks together without reprieve, I mentioned, what would you like to have? What would you like to eat? What would you like that's special? And his most favourite food in the whole wide world is, and Fluffy Cheeseburger is here. Oh, he can't hear the music. He's just telling me, let me crank that up just a little bit for you. Pie. Fluffy Cheeseburger likes pie. Not any old pie. What kind of pie is it got to be, Fluffy Cheeseburger? Let us know what is the best type of pie to make in the whole wide world. Hints are right here. Pumpkin pie, that's what he wants. So, you know, you're stuck at home all day. Not a whole lot else going on. Done the housework. No laundry to do. What I do need to do probably isn't going to get dry by now anyway. So, yeah, pumpkin pie it's going to be. So, first things first, Purple Mumbles. Well, first thing you got to do is always wash your hands before you start cooking, especially in the current environment. We do not want to be spreading any germs or viruses around, so a good, solid hand wash. Now, I have done this before I started streaming, so this is just a top-up hand wash. Make sure where it's super clean. Now, this whole pumpkin pie idea kicked off yesterday, and I popped out to the supermarket just to get a couple of odd bits and pieces, aka biscuits and tea bags, because that's what I need to be locked down with. So I got my biscuits and my tea bags and saw a pumpkin. Perfect. We need pumpkin to make pumpkin pie, unless of course you live in the States where you get the wonderful, I think it's Libby's, isn't it, pumpkin that comes in a can. If we want to buy that where we are, we need to sever a leg, donate a kidney, and sell ourselves on the streets because that stuff is so expensive. But why would you want to go out and spend a fortune on pumpkin when you can make your own stuff, as we have here? So I bought my pumpkin. There we go. Wonderful pumpkin that it is. I bought that, and I bought a whole pumpkin, so a whole big crown pumpkin, and literally took the pumpkin, stabbed it with a knife a few times just to stop it from exploding inside my oven. Didn't put any oil or anything on top of it. You just take your pumpkin, stick it on a baking tray, throw it in your oven at about 350, 175 Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit, and let it cook for about an hour and a half until you stick a knife in and it goes through smoothly. Take it out of the oven, let it cool down, cut it into eighths, and then just peel that skin off. Now you will see there's a little bit of green dusky residue on that pumpkin. It does no harm whatsoever. The skin is gone. That's just some residue. Don't be bothered. Don't be fussed by it. Now, what I don't use today of this, because I only need 3 cups of pumpkin for my recipe, I will be freezing my leftover pumpkin in 1 cup measures. So anytime that I want to make pumpkin bread or more pumpkin pie, or pumpkin muffins or pumpkin anything, literally it'll be in 1 cup measures. I can easily pull that out of the freezer and get it defrosted. So to that note, we'll set my cooked pumpkin aside. I have some pumpkin that I had previously. Hey, welcome aboard, Kay Cools. Good to see you here. Your wife is way more wonderful than you. Wow, good to hear that. I keep telling them this all the while. So here we have got a cup worth, how I freeze it. It's now thawed. I'm great, thank you, Kay Cool. I hope you're well too. So here's my thawed pumpkin gloop in a 1 cup measure. So this is the last 1 cup measure that I had inside my freezer, and I'm just going to drop that into my mixing bowl. And this is a really, really easy recipe to make. So this is kind of a mixture of different recipes I found on the internet, and a few extra bits and pieces added that I enjoy. So I squeeze that pumpkin gloop out of the bag. So generally I take this out before it's defrosted so I don't get stuff that's stuck inside the bag. kind of squeezed out a little bit like toothpaste really. And I'm squeezing this directly into my mixing bowl that I'm going to be blitzing everything in. Now, one thing I did fail to buy when I was at the supermarket, I suck at making pastry. I mean, I really suck at making pastry. And it's so touch and go with me. It's, yeah, I just prefer not to even attempt it nowadays. I've wasted so many ingredients just by trying to make a decent pastry and ruined so many a pie. Pop this into the bin. Yeah, so I failed to get extra pastry. So I've only got one of my favourite pastries sheets available. Ooh, look, I've made a mess already. I've only got one of my favourite pastry sheets available, so I'm going to have to use something else for the second pie. So this mixture makes 2 pies, plus what I call the chef's treat, because we all need a treat, don't we? And if you're in there and you happen to do the cooking yourself, and everybody else is just having a good time video gaming or outside doing whatever it is they enjoy doing whilst you're stuck slaving in the kitchen, then I think the chef should have a treat. And just grab my tub of utensils out of my pantry to get out earlier on. Isn't this brilliant? Look, stick all your utensils in an ice box, you know, the ones that come with your freezer. Works perfectly. Stick everything inside there, easy to drag them out, and you don't have to leave them hanging above your kitchen bench where all the flies and nastiness and the grease from the kitchen can land. So, yeah, go out, buy yourself a pumpkin cake all before they shut the shops on you. Nice, easy way of doing it. You don't have to get the canned stuff. This is just such a easy recipe to pull together. So, I've got 1 cup measure inside my mixing bowl here. I need to add another 2 cups of pumpkin from the pumpkin that I cooked earlier on today. There we have it. Grab a spoon. Let's move all the rest of this junk out of the way. You know what, I haven't put my apron on. I'm just not with it today. I'm in lazy mode. Mum's apron. I love Mum's apron. Oh, you're in lockdown as well. So are you allowed to go out to the supermarket at all? At all? Because we can go out to the supermarket. Do you like that? Got my little line on it. My mum had this. I remember growing up, 2 years of age. I remember it vividly, hanging onto Mum's apron. So that's probably why this pocket is torn down here. That's probably me that did that. And she had like a toaster cover and a teapot cover and little egg cozy covers as well. Isn't that lovely? So you can go to the supermarket, and the gas stations all get food curbside. Memories are important, yeah. This is one of my fondest ones, and every time I'm in the kitchen, I've got my mum with me if I wear my mum's apron. So anyway, I need to add 2 more cups because we need a total of 3 cups of pumpkin, so cooked pumpkin or softened pumpkin gloop as I call it. So I'm just gonna, I know that each cup weighs about 225 grams, so I've already got 225 in there, so I've zeroed my scales. I need to add 450 grams of pumpkin gloop. That's 340, 450. Oh no, not quite, went up and then it went down again. 441, 454, close enough, that will do. So the rest of this pumpkin mix that I have here, that's going to get blitzed down, mashed up, and placed into 1 cup measures, and that will go into my freezer for the next time I get the demand of something pumpkin-esque from Number One Son. So this is inside my blitzer, ready to zap through. There's a 99% chance I'm going to throw you off constantly. I do the same to Sarge. I tell you, it's not hard to throw me off. Do it once, then freeze it. With the pumpkin, that is. Yeah, cook the pumpkin up, mush it down, 1 cup measures, throw it into the freezer. This is going to make 2 of these pies. So this pie dish, grab out my handy dandy ruler, is about 8.5 inches, which is about 21 centimeters in diameter. So I'm going to get 2 pies, 2 of these pie dishes. Where's the camera? 2 of these pie dishes out of this mixture. plus the chef's amount. Plus I'm probably going to have a disaster in the oven, but you'll see all about that later. So first things first, I want to blitz up this pumpkin mush to be totally mushy because some of it is still quite solid. So let me plug my blitzer in. Let me have a look. I have beef jerky making skills and steak making skills and burger making skills. Other than that, maybe peanut butter cookies. I'm worse in the kitchen. No, you can do this. Really, this is a really easy to make recipe. So let me stick my pumpkin gloop onto the bench. I think you should make this and impress the women in your life. Let me move this over here a little bit so I don't have to stretch everything. Oh, it's all toppling over inside my kitchen. See, I suck on a barbecue. I've never touched a barbecue. Well, I have touched a barbecue and it sucked so much that I stopped touching it. That's husband's job. If we're making anything on the barbecue, that's what M. Sarge has to do. I've lost the top to a mixer. There it is. This looks a little bit grimy because I took the pumpkin seeds and I baked them up. Actually, I haven't tried them yet. I don't know what they're going to taste like. They didn't blitz the way I wanted them to. Let me just quickly show you those. Look at those. I don't know what they're going to taste like. They could be awful. Nah. No, I'm not crazy about those at all. I won't give you the recipe for them. They weren't very good at all. Right. I thought that's what my P skills were for, to impress the ladies. Sarge told me how much of a, what is a BA? Oh, bad bottom. Yes, I get that. For jumping out of planes. Yeah, I taught him how to pack a parachute. Did he tell you that? Right, hope this isn't too noisy for you guys. Just blitz that pumpkin pulp down so it's nice and smooth. He seems smitten with me. Yeah, I'm smitten with him too. We've been together a couple of years now, and you can ask M. Sarge how many a couple is. Back in the early days, he'd go out with his mates and come home a little worse for wear, and I'd say, how many beers you had? He'd say, a couple. I said, a couple is how many? 4? 3? 4? I said, how many's in this relationship? I said, oh, couple. I said, what, 3 or 4? A couple is 2. Unless you're having beer, obviously. Right, so there's my 3 cups of cooked pumpkin gloop. And to that, I need to add 1 cup of sugar. I've got my measuring cup here. I'm going to be using raw sugar. This is my sugar of choice inside my pantry. You can use raw sugar, white sugar, brown sugar, whatever it is, kind of sugar that best suits your taste. But this is what I predominantly keep inside my kitchen nowadays. It's a little bit less processed than some of the other sugars. So break that up a little bit. And we're going to pop 1 cup in. I'll do it over here just in case it all slips. Right, 1 cup of sugar into there. You can't really see what I'm doing, can you? Shall I move this stuff around a little bit? And there we go, 1 cup of sugar into there, and it's all just landed on the top. Spindle, so I'll flick that off. It's the easiest recipe you've ever made. You know, actually, what I need to do is throw my oven on. So you want your oven on at 210 Celsius or 425 Fahrenheit. I don't usually run this oven, but because I've got to use 2 shelves, I'll fire this big beast up today. It takes a wee while longer than most ovens to heat up. So that's 210 Celsius or 425 Fahrenheit. Something I forgot to get out of my drawer, which I know I'm going to need, and it's, if you've got them, pull them out, otherwise you're going to be using foil. These things, have you seen these before? So these are pie surrounds. And you've got a second one here, it comes in 2 pieces, and it's adjustable. Now when you make this pie, it's a frisbee, it's a bit like a frisbee, isn't it? When you make this pie, the crust on it will want to burn around the edges of your pan. So these things are designed to sit over those edges, like that. And hopefully the pie won't burn on the edges quite as much. So I've just got to measure this one up and fit it into place. Because it's kind of hard to do it when the pie's hot. That should work just fine like that. Will that fit? How does that look? Quite a good camera. It's really hard to judge where these cameras are. See, that just sits over the edge, and that'll help protect that crust from browning or burning too soon. Right. Wait a minute, what are those called? I'm going to order my mummy a set right now. They're just, I don't know what they're called. Pie crust anti-burn things. They're silicone, so you could silicone pie crust ring maybe. This one is a Mrs. Anderson's silicone pie crust ring. This one isn't adjustable, and I actually prefer this one. So if you can get some in several different sizes, then I'd recommend that's what you should do. Right, what do? I put the sugar in. Blitz the sugar. See, you're distracting me already. Oh, you found it. Great job. That'll be one very happy mummy. Okay, so we've got 3 cups of pumpkin gloop, 1 cup of sugar. Now here comes the nice, delicious seasonings, which will give you that pumpkin pie deliciousness that we all love. So you need 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. This is my son and my husband's favourite spice, and it is my least favourite spice. I really do not like it, but you want the flavour, it's got to go in. Thankfully, there's enough other flavours that it kind of gets disguised, so I don't taste it so much. So 1.5 teaspoons of that, or just shy, if you're me and you don't like the stuff. And then you need 1 teaspoon of ground cloves. Now I know in the States you can buy pumpkin pie spice, but when you buy that, you can't really control what different flavours you're putting in, so I prefer to do this by my own individual measures rather than buy that pumpkin pie spice stuff. So we've got 1 teaspoon of ground cloves, which always smell really horrible, I think, but I'm going to have to put cloves on my shopping list right quick because I'm nearly out of that, so bear with. Cloves. The next time I dare venture out to the supermarket. 1 teaspoon of allspice, or mixed spice you might know it as. So once all these spices start mixing together, the aroma that comes from this is just delicious. So there's 1 teaspoon of allspice. Now the recipe I've got here says ½ teaspoon of ginger. I love ginger. This is like one of my favourite spices, so I'm going to put more than ½ teaspoon in. And I'm going to go the full whack of 1 teaspoon of ginger. Maybe that wasn't quite a full teaspoon, so I'll give it a wee bit more. 1 teaspoon of ginger. I'm going to make a note of the extras that I'm putting in here. So when I pop this recipe up, you'll have the same quantities that I'm putting in. Then we also have nutmeg, because it just adds a nice, whoopsies, whoopsies. Alexa, add cloves to the shopping list. Ginger girls. There you go, see, it's distracting me again. It says ½ teaspoon of ginger. We've done the 1 teaspoon of ginger. What have I got here? Nutmeg. So nutmeg. So that's not on my shopping list or on my list of things to add, but again, it's another seasoning that I like. So I'm going to add about ½ teaspoon of nutmeg. ½ teaspoon of nutmeg. Right. So that's all inside there. We'll, oh, ½ teaspoon of salt. Mustn't forget the salt. I tell you, it's amazing how much of a difference leaving out salt from a sweet dish has. ½ teaspoon of salt. You end up eating it and it's like, something's missing, but I don't quite know what. So you think about it some more, it's like, oh, I forgot to put the salt in. Too late by then. Right, let me blitz this up, cover your ears. Such wonderful smells coming out of there. Right, before I forget, let me get my pastry sheets out of the freezer. As I mentioned before, I really suck at making pastry. I mean, really suck at making pastry. So, I've got my sweet short crust sheet, can't even say it, sweet short crust pastry sheets. You need enough for 2 pies, so generally if you buy it on the roll, you can probably get 2 pies out of a roll. But I've only got 1 sheet here and I need 2 sheets for my pies. So what do? Do I go with flaky puff pastry or shall I try sticking a tortilla wrap in? I don't know which one to do. If I stick the flaky puff pastry in, it's probably going to blow it out of the dish when it's cooking. Or if I poke it enough, then hopefully the air bubbles will pop and it won't blow it out whilst it's cooking. I'm going to use the flaky puff pastry as well. 1 of each. And that's what we'll do. And this is just for the bottom of the pie dish. Chop that up, get that out. 40% less fat, less guilt, less fat. Probably laden with sugar, but whoopsies. Don't shut that in the door. Right, so 1 sheet of each. I can get this out without breaking it. Oh, that came away nicely. Come on out. So just pull these out now because they're just going to take about 10 minutes or so to thaw. I'll stick them over there on the hob so they can get some air underneath. Get this one out. This one's starting to thaw already, so that's good. And put what we don't need away. That gets recycled, and this can go back in the freezer. I'll put that in its storage container later. Okay, it's getting warm in my kitchen. I'm going to put the heat pump on in a minute. Not enough crust. Right, let me have a look in here. This is my chef's bowl. So when I pour it into my dishes, what doesn't fit into these dishes is going to go into here. And this is going to look a dreadful mess, but we get to eat this. We don't tell anybody what we're making. We just get to eat that. That's the chef's one. Right, back to this. I need 4 large eggs. Did I bring my eggs? Where's my eggs? There they are. Now, don't be a muppet. Always break your eggs into a separate container, not straight into here, because if you break your eggs straight into there and the shell shatters, then you're going to be pretty shattered trying to fish it out of that container, aren't you? So break your eggs into a separate glass or bowl first so you don't have to worry about fishing them out. Sometimes I get lazy and always end up regretting it. So there's one. It's such an easy. Oh, yeah. Hubby's mum always used to do cinnamon and sugar on the top of those bits of crusts. So I'm not into the cinnamon and sugar bits, so those scrappy bits of crusts are going to go into the bottom of the chef's bowl. Is there shell in there? No. 2. See, it's such an easy recipe. So, okay, cool, I'm sure that you could make this. In fact, if I remember correctly, I think Emsage has even used this recipe at some point. Please don't drink that now. How much would you dare me? Would you dare me to drink an egg? You have a 4-year-old princess. Oh, you've got a 4-year-old princess and you've got to make this and you've got to get her to help you make it. And you've got to live stream it too. That'd be just adorable to watch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, egg, break. And that'll be the one that's tossed to shell, if any have. Remember, eggs can go inside your compost heap if you're a composter or if you're a gardener. I am not, so those eggshells will be going down my waste disposal. Right, there. Eggs are in. 4 of them, look at that, yum. Blitz away. I will just get my child depriver. Where did I put my child depriver? Had it in my hand just a second ago. Oh, it's in there. And scrape down the sides of my bowl because it isn't quite mixing thoroughly nicely. That's what we want. Whoops. Oh, now I'm gonna have to lick my finger. Oh, yum. Oh, yum. You know what that means? Needs more ginger. Another half teaspoon of ginger. So let me update my little notepad. Oh, you make princess cupcakes. Princess cupcakes. I want to see your princess cupcakes. That'd be adorable to watch. And I want to see your princess. Right, that's done. Now we will need evaporated milk. So get closer to that. So that's not skim milk, although you can use skim milk, you can use whole milk, you can use any milk you want to. If I was doing this vegan, then I would use probably an almond milk. But you need basically a can and a half of this. So you want about 18 fluid ounces, which is, there's 355 mils generally in one of these cans. I just do, oh, it's 370 in this one. Literally it's a can and a half. Okay, you're not vegan, so you're sweet. Excellent. So open up your can. Oh, I need the can opener for that one. Where's my can opener? There it is. So I usually use a can of evaporated milk and then another half a can of whatever milk I happen to have inside my fridge at the time. And I've got regular skimmed milk in my fridge at the moment. So we've gone from the vegan diet and we're now back into having dairy because Son and I were both really missing having dairy. So in goes that lovely evaporated milk. And then I'm going to half fill that again with regular milk. So any milk that you happen to have, whole milk, skim milk, trim milk, almond milk, soy milk, whatever it is you've got going. Cream you could use, but I wouldn't make the full pie of just cream. That would make it just too rich. Save the cream for later. You can whip it up and put it on top. Swirl that around so I can get the rest of the evaporated milk out of there. Yum. And that just gets dumped in there. Sweet. Rinse that off, and that's going for recycling, although from what I understand, our recycling is not going to be recycled for the next month. We've just gone on to lockdown, so the rubbish will be picked up, but they are not going to be recycling, and understandable. I mean, people are putting their lives at risk just picking up our rubbish for us, so I can certainly turn a blind eye to not recycling for a bit. Okay, let's blitz that up. Right, give the sides of my bowl a scrape down. Oh, I wish you could smell this. Just delicious. And blitz again. So that mixture is now ready to be poured onto our pie crusts. So let's get these pie crusts ready to go. We'll move all of this out of the way. Try not to drag it across my dirty spatula. Child depriver here. See how easy the mixture is to pull together. One of the simplest recipes. Right, 2 pie dishes. Leave that one out of the way because that's going to be for the scraps. And these are my pie crusts. So this is my sweet short crust pastry crust. Literally slap it inside your bowl. Started to thaw already, so that's great. We've got the plastic backing. going to need a knife, a nice sharp one. This one hasn't quite thawed as much. So this one's the puff pastry. I'm worried about this puff pastry one. I'm really concerned that that is going to just explode out of the bowl and make a dreadful mess in my oven. However, I'll put the pie onto a tray just in case it does bubble over, so it won't actually go everywhere in my oven, and hopefully it will remain in the tray. Just needs to thaw a little bit more. Double pies, yep. One for now, one for the freezer, and it's going to be yum. So a wee little tip. You probably don't have this if you're in the States. This is custard powder. Mine is a local supermarket brand one from Home Brand or Woolworths or Countdown or wherever your local brand of that supermarket happens to be. If you sprinkle some of this, so it's basically corn flour and it's got like an egg mixture to it to make a regular, you'd call it probably a vanilla pudding, we call it a custard. If you sprinkle a little bit of this on the bottom of your pie crust, and this is any time that you're making a sweet pie, and it's really good if you're making apple pie, sprinkle some of that across the bottom of the pie. It stops the pie crust from becoming a totally soggy mess. So any fluids that are leaking down from the mixture that you're putting inside, like apple pie, if you're making an apple pie, a trick with an apple pie is cut your apples up, stick them into a glass bowl and sprinkle custard powder over the top along with your nutmeg, your cinnamon, whatever else seasonings that you like to put in with it, or sugar if you like to put sugar with your apple pie. When your apples are cooking, the moisture from those apples will come out and go into that custard powder, and it helps combine everything and make a gloop. If you sprinkle it across the bottom of your pie shell, it stops any moisture that's in your mixture above from running into your pie shell and slowing down the cooking of your pie shell, because no one likes to take a pie out and have that raw pastry underneath the bottom of it. This helps prevent that from happening quite as badly. It doesn't stop it completely, but it certainly lessens the likelihood of it. So this pastry has just softened enough that I can press it down into the bottom edges of my pie dish here. We don't need to pre-grease these pie dishes. They're pretty good at releasing a pie. I've made them several times in the past. Using these dishes. So you can see it's not quite come up to the edges of the pie, so we literally trim off the bits that extend out. And we go back around and stick them back in to fill in those gaps that remain. Stone pie pans. I've got some like clay ceramic ones that I use for quiches and stuff, but I haven't tried stone pie pans. Do they release easily? Do you have to like pre-grease them? I'm asking you here, Kay Cool. Do you have to pre-grease the stone ones? Right, need a fork. Wipe my fingers off. Prick your bottom, peeps. Now I'm going to do this excessively on my other pie crust, because I do think that that's going to cause a problem for me. I'll have a look at that later on. I don't quite know how to click on that without blowing my screen. So, but thank you. I will take a peek later on. So let me just quickly sprinkle some of this custard powder. So if you don't have custard powder, corn flour or corn starch, you would call it in the States, will do just as good of a job. Custard powder, however, has got some nice flavouring to it, so I prefer to use that. And traditionally, when I was a kid, Bird's, was it Bird's? Yeah, I think it was Bird's custard powder is what we used to buy. It was the only thing that was available, but there's plenty of different stores that make this now. After you've got your pastry shell in place, let me flip this so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. you need to pinch your pie crust so it doesn't slide into the dish here. So just between your fingers, go around your pie crust, pinching it nice and tight so it squishes well into the side of your tray and into the side of your dish. And you can do little patterns if you so desire. Mine's going to look rough and rugged, a little bit like me. All right, that one's all pinched, so this is ready to have the mixture poured into it. And you see I've got a few scraps here. Do you remember that chef's dish I was telling you about? Well, they're going to go into there. So just lay them in a nice single layer on the bottom. Put that aside, and we'll see if this one's thawed enough now. Yep, that's thawed enough, so we can pinch this one into place. So pressing it all the way down and around your dish. What are your thoughts on doing that with a fork as well? What, this pastry you mean? Oh, what, the edges? Yes. Well, shall we do this one with a fork? Actually, maybe I will. I'll do them both. Pinch with my fingers and with my fork. So yes, you can. You can go around like that. In fact, actually, that looks a little bit prettier, doesn't it? You might have one of those dishes where you get somewhat of an overlap on the side, and that's fine. You can, you know, if the overlap comes around this way, you can poke them with a fork as well. It looks a little bit prettier than my hunking great big fingerprints. But basically, you're just trying to stop that pastry from sliding down into the dish as it cooks, and it will try to slide because obviously there's a lot of fat in pastry. And what happens with fat when it gets hot? It gets slick. Pinch that down, chop the extras off. Oopsie. And then re-stick the extras back in place. Now I'm really concerned about this pastry because it's getting quite crusty on the edges. So I really don't know how well this is going to work. Oh well, if it's a failure, I'm sure it'll still taste nice. Right. If I look around my dish, I can still see there's a few edges, like here, 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 that need a little bit more pastry in them. So we'll just go back around and do that again. Go on, stick your beast. There you go. Filling in the little patches. Yeah, I think it probably is irrelevant which one that you want to do, but I think possibly the fork is going to be a better idea, especially with this pastry because it's so fine. Put my scraps in my bowl here. Waste not, want not, and all that stuff. Right, so fork this one out. All around the edge. Pressing it in nice and tight, try and avoid that pie crust from sliding down. Oh, it's getting hot in my kitchen. It's getting hot in here. No, I won't be taking my clothes off. That's a whole different type of streaming that I will not be doing. No, I'm not taking my clothes off. Right, remember, prick your bottom. Now this one's going to get some mega pricking going on. So this is the flaky pastry, and flaky pastry is designed to puff up. And if I've got too much puff going on with this, then all of my filling is just going to get chucked out of the edge. So I'm hoping that by pricking it a lot, I can prevent too much puff. I really don't know what's going to happen. Live cooking, who knows? But hey, when you want pumpkin pie, don't you? Right. Yeah, you want to wear one step ahead of me. I know the pressure doesn't build below, but I'm just worried that the bubbles inside the pastry itself might push it up. Anyway, I don't think it's going to do any harm. We'll see what happens. Just cross your fingers and hope for the best. So another teaspoon of custard powder onto there. Yeah, crossing my fingers. Cook by crossing fingers. Or ho-hum cooking. Que sera cooking. Whatever will be, will be. Right, how's it look? Okay, let me just give this another quick blitz. So it's all well and truly mixed. We'll pour it into our dishes and hope for the best. I've got my 3 on the go here. This is where it's going to get really, really messy because this is quite runny. Now generally I say you need to pour it about 2/3 of the way up the dish. We'll just see how much we have left over. See, it's pretty runny. It will thicken up in the oven. So I'm thinking about that is just plenty. Actually, that's probably the one I shouldn't have put so much into because that's the one I'm worried about. Oh well. See, and then you have some left in the bottom here. Can you see that? Hence why we have this dish. We'll take that mixer hand out of the way, mixer blade. That goes into there because we can't let it go to waste, can we? And yes, I know I could just use 2 cups of mix and make less, but then I wouldn't get my little chef's bowl, would I? Right. Now, this is the worst part about this cook, is it's going to take a long time. Oh man, it tastes so nice. It's going to take a long time to cook. And you've got to be very, very careful how you maneuver stuff around here because it's so runny. Yuck. So, pastry rings. This. Good morning, Saj. Woohoo! Look what you're missing. What's she making today? This is lockdown pumpkin pie. He came to interrupt our fun. I know, he's such a spoil sport sometimes. There. Lockdown pumpkin pie. Right, now, this is going to make a mess. I'm absolutely certain of it. So, shall I put safe pie on the bottom? Can we remember that? Safe pie on the bottom shelf. And the one that's going to make a horrendous mess, I'm sure, can go on the top shelf. So the oven is heated, sucking up all my solar energy. But hey, desperate needs, desperate measures, and all that stuff. I slide that to the oven. You know what? Maybe I should put pumpkin with this pie because I'm not so worried about that. So we'll put the pumpkin pie, the safe one, in the middle shelf. Everybody remember that. Safe pie, middle shelf. Here we go. Into the oven. Or shall I flip my thingy over so you can see what we're up to? I just realised I screwed up. Let me put this one in first, since I've got the oven open already. Right, I forgot to flick the shelf over. And I need to flick that shelf over. Go on, in you go. On the bottom rack. In. And that's because these cookie sheets that I've got are just a tad bit too wide to sit on that bottom shelf, which has got a funny angle to it. So let me just close this up, let it reheat for a bit. This pie is needing to cook for quite some time. Let me have a look. 210 for the first 15 minutes. So I set my timer for 15 minutes. So 210, which is about 425 for the first 15 minutes. Right, stick this one in. Oh, yum. Oh, please fit, please fit. There you go, that's just right. Come on, all the way in. Oh no! Why won't you go in? There it goes. We're in. Right, need to blow my nose. All this heat in my kitchen. Let me just mute you guys, you don't want to listen to this. Did that mute? Oh, it didn't. Oh. Sorry about that. Nose blown, can breathe again. Let's get the timer out of the way. We're going to have to wait 15 minutes just for the first part. And then we're going to turn the temperature down and cook it for a wee while longer so I can get on and have a wee chat. Sarge, you need to get her a larger oven. I've got a larger oven getting ready to be fitted, but my corona has drawn a halt to everything in my wee world for a wee while. And there's actually nothing wrong with this oven here. It's just I've wanted a pyrolytic one and we need to do some other repair work to the house. And since we're going to be doing repair work to the house, my lovely husband has told me I can upgrade my oven to a pyrolytic one, and I'm so excited by that. You can't imagine how pleased I am. Right, darn rack's in the wrong spot, you never know. I know, you know, and it wasn't that the rack was in the wrong spot, it was one of my racks is shaped like this. So when I put my cookie sheet tray on it, it doesn't sit in that scoop at the bottom, it kind of sits on one side and then tilts, because my cookie sheet is a bit too big for the rack. So then it topples and it's not good. Oh, you found my strawberries. Oh, aren't they gorgeous? I love my purple strawberries. Oh, love purple, in case you didn't know. So yeah, generally when I put that cookie sheet in, I remember to flick the rack so I can slide the cookie sheet in, and of course I forgot this time. Oh well, at least you can see I'm live, you know, there's nothing edited here. What you see is what you get. I'll clean up my kitchen a little bit, so I can keep things neat and tidy. Just put the kettle on because I need a cup of tea. Whoops. You wouldn't dare disagree, Sarge. You disagree with me often. When you're wrong. Oh, pumpkin on the floor. I got smart today. I locked the doors in the kitchen so the cats can't come in and bug me. Whoops. I put all these bits and pieces away that I don't need so I can have a nice clean bench when it's time to start pulling this stuff out. Some fingerprints on there. Right, who wants a cup of tea with me? I've just got a small cup, just a small one. Look at that, a little mug. It only holds like 650 or 700 ml, about 3/4 of a litre. Got out a cup of tea. English breakfast, skim milk, can't beat it, love it. Look at that, yummy cup of tea. Yep, I don't have blood, I have tea running through my veins. That's the British in me. Right, let me have a look. She ain't having any of your BS. I know what that means now. And I know what BA means as well. Never showed me how to, so she showed me how to make a pie. Yeah, and Kay Cool, you're gonna promise me, please, that you're gonna make a pie, a pumpkin pie with your little princess. And you gotta stream it, mate. We've gotta see this happening. So I'm certain that you know what pumpkin pie tastes like. Where we are, there's a lot of people who have never heard of it, and those that have heard of it all think it's a savoury thing. They can't fathom the idea of having pumpkin sweet, but only as a savoury dish. I have a tea issue. Yeah, were you supposed to with a cup of tea? Goodness me, the only time you don't is when you're having a herbal tea. Yeah, well, your mum might make the pumpkin pie, but you've got to do this too. So pumpkin pie, you've got to make it with your 3-year-old, or did you say 2-year-old or 3-year-old, your little princess? Put all my seasonings away because I don't need these now. Perfect. Well, lovely cup of tea. Is anybody else having a cuppa? When am I doing apple pie? With some ice cream. Yeah, it is nice. My father-in-law used to enjoy his apple pie with a slice of cheese. Isn't that not right, Mr. Hub? Apple pie and cheese. Can't say I've ever tried that. Something on my oven glove. Yeah, I don't think I could fancy it with cheese. I guess it's probably the same reaction that the locals over here have, having pumpkin as a sweet dish instead of a savoury one. But no, if you haven't tried it, don't knock it until you've tried it. That's what I was trying to say. You know what I think I'm going to do is puree the rest of this mushroom glue. So that's something that can be done whilst we're waiting on the pies to cook. Just rinse out my food processor, since it's had eggs in and all. So hubby, I bought a hunking great big pumpkin yesterday before we locked down. Miss Curtis fancied some pumpkin pie. Our lockdown pie, as we're calling it. And I roasted it in the oven today, so my electricity usage is going to be huge. Oh well. Go on, fit on there. Thank you very much. Where did I put my food blender mixer thingy? So back in with my food processor. We're just going to blitz this down now. French vanilla ice cream. Oh, I love French vanilla. So much nicer than regular vanilla. Or even whipped cream. It's nice with whipped cream. Right. One food processor. Let's mix up all the rest of this pumpkin so I can get it frozen. So literally we just want this to go into a puree sort of state. And then I'll stick it in 1 cup measures into freezer bags and it'll be good for another day. For whatever it is I decide to make. Let's get that going. Where did I put the lid? Righto. Are you saying I'm a wild one? I'm not a wild one. Not at all. Right. I'm hoping I can do this all in one batch rather than have to dip it out and mess it out. Oops. Oh, it's going everywhere. You can't see what I'm doing, can you? Oops. You know things are bad when I keep saying oops. 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 Oh, no, it landed in. Good. Get in there. Get in there. time, Saj, I roasted up my pepitas, my pumpkin pepitas. Look at that. They're horrible. I'll probably be putting them out for the birds, but they're a bit spicy, so maybe not. Oh man, he let the cat in. Who let the cats in?
The cats wouldn't shut the fuck up.
Pardon? There'll be no streaming on this, no swearing on this stream. Thank you very much. Number one son has just walked in with two very noisy cats making demands, aren't you guys? Shall we show everybody, you guys, the noisy kitties? What's that camera? Right. Kitties, over here. Come say hi, kitties. Keep them away from the food, please. That is Pants. He was nearly put down twice last week, or the week before last. Was it last week? It was last week, wasn't it? No, it was the week. Oh, I don't remember. And then Chili. Chili. Oh. Here we go. That's Chili. She's the cute one, aren't you? Is you the cute one? Is you the cute kitty? Yeah. Right, so yeah, who let the cats in? Yeah, no, that was dearest number one son.
They were trying to kill each other. I had no choice.
We start the feeding frenzy. Meow. Chili, say your nice meow. Chili, say meow. Chili. That's Pants, the one that goes, eh? Yeah, that was Pants. Chili, say hello. No, that's Pants. If you hear it, wah, that's Pants. He doesn't know how to say meow. Chili, on the other hand, has got the cutest little voice. Sarge Jr., you enjoy this pie we are making.
I love pie.
Thank God your son looks like your wife. Yes, he does.
Nice. Got him.
Yeah, it's not quite as mush as I want it to be. Bit of kettle water on that, I think.
Fancy Pants has to get his food mushed and microwaved so he doesn't get too.
He is not the milkman's kid. Ham on food processor.
You know where a microfiber cloth would be? Or a glasses?
Yeah, in the airing cupboard.
Like a microfiber one. Tiny one.
Can it wait till later and I'll get you one out?
That's right. I'll just go on that floor.
I've got a better one for glass, a better Look, you stand here, do a little dance, entertain everybody.
Okay.
I'll go get you a nice glass cleaning cloth. So everybody, you bear witness, son must be dancing this whole time away. Otherwise he does not get this glass cleaning cloth that he's asking for. Constant. Worthy of a glass cleaning cloth. Huh?
Just say I was moonwalking, they couldn't see it.
They couldn't see the moonwalking.
No, they saw
Was
the
he
twerk.
dancing?
They saw the twerk.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
No? Yeah.
Come on. Look. Oh, no, see a little dance. Dance for me, Chris. Dance. He was shaking his ass on screen and backing it up. Yeah, no, I guess. Oh, and there goes the timer. Yeah, no, I guess he's earned it then. Stop.
Back it up like a Tonka truck.
Right, so there's my 15 minutes. What does it say after that? So turn the heat down to no pants, don't hit me. 175 Celsius, which is about 350 Fahrenheit for another 45 to 60 minutes. I told you guys this takes forever, doesn't it? So we'll set this for 45 minutes. 45, start.
Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome, pork. Right. So in the meantime, guess what I'm going to be doing? Hang on a minute, what's this? He was shaking his ass, back it up. Oh, I meant butt. Yeah, the butt. Shaking his butt.
Kick my ass.
He's a hoe pimping himself for pie.
Anything to pay my college debt.
What is your wife going to do with 2 pies? And I saw Junior. Right. Oh yes, some yummy pumpkin puree in there, but I'm going to have to, sorry, probably a bit harsh on your ears, isn't it? Pumpkin puree. Can you see that? So I need to do 1 cup measures of this stuff. So, next thing, I get out my measuring scales and I get out my freezer bags if I can find them anywhere. Not there. Where's my roll of freezer bags? Oh, you moved them, didn't you?
Nope.
Yes, you
I did
did.
not move them.
You moved them. Freezer bags. And I need a mug. This one. Perfect.
Bye-bye, Susan, I love you.
Bye-bye, Curtis. Bye-bye. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
See you. Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Right. Weigh your mug, Linda. Because if you don't, you'll kick yourself later. So that's about 300 grams. Write it on the bottom so I'll remember. Why do I weigh my mug? So if I walk away from my scales and they switch themselves off, which they tend to do if you leave them for too long, then I know that the end result that I need from here, what did I say it weighs? 300. The end result needs to weigh about 525 grams. So I know that I've got a cup worth of pulp. See? So Emsage. I've just missed half of this chatter. How do I get that to go back? Oh, there you go. Da, da, da. When is the new song? Later today. British always have like 50 mugs. I think I've got more than 50. Probably stream 10 hours-ish, depending upon work today. That's right, so I can weigh my ingredients. So, I want 225 grams of pulp in each measure that's going to be going into my freezer. That's 225 grams is about 1 cup worth of pulp. So the next time I want to do some baking, I know exactly what I need to pull out of my freezer, and that's it. So literally, that will get stuck into an ice cream container. Let me just find some twisty ties. Oh, I've got some in here somewhere. There they are. That will literally go into the freezer in an ice cream container and get frozen, and I'll just pull it out as and when I need it. You want the recipe? I know, I haven't got the recipe, I haven't put it up. Hey, that's something you can do, Emsage. Do you want to type up this recipe for me? It's a really, really, really easy recipe. That would be very much appreciated. I can just like rattle it off to you as you're sat beside your keyboard. Would you be happy to do that for me? Let me scroll down because I don't think I'm getting all the messages on here. Yeah, 225 grams is 1 cup of pulp. Why is this not loading in the bottom? Chat pause due to scroll. Okay, how do I fix that? I just want it to work its way up by itself without me having to scroll it all the while. And it's not. Maybe I'll type something in. Maybe it'll behave then. Let me type, hey. Whoops, did that even go? Let me try again. Hey. Oh, Curtis, I need your help. I don't know why my, oh, there it goes. Hey, it's working. Right, back to my pulp. What did I say I wanted? 225 grams. This is distraction. Ooh, yummy. Smells gorgeous in my kitchen. 227, that'll do. Gotta have enough pulp for another day. It's 0.0006276 tons of pulp per bag. Rightio. Now I've been informed. Consider myself educated. Get myself an ice cream container out. Oh, this is a very Kiwi thing. It's very sweet as. Do you get this in the States? Hokey Pokey ice cream. Now that is good with pumpkin pie. Right. Keep on going. So hubby, did you realise that I didn't have the right pastry? So I've had to use sweet short crust pastry for one pie and then had to resort to puff pastry or flaky pastry for another pie, and I'm really scared that it's going to blow out of the pan. I actually daren't look inside my oven. Oh, see, I've done it. I knew I'd do that. Took it off the scales. So, 1 cup of this mug rice that needs to weigh 525 grams for me to be at the right weight. 455. This is why I write the weight on the bottom of the containers. 494, 497, too much, not enough, too much, just right. That's all right. I don't mind being thrown off. That's why I've got my weights sorted already. Make sure you knock all the air out of your bag, because otherwise you get horrible little ice crystals growing everywhere, and you get less inside your freezer space. 907,185 grams in a US ton. I don't know, do we measure in imperials? I think we do, don't we? Husband? Can't remember what the difference is, to be honest. My cup of tea sat over there going cold. Can't have that. Yeah, I'd like you to let the air out of your bag as well, honey. Nothing but a windbag. Are you going to type this recipe up for me, husband? Yeah, be afraid. Be very afraid. Right, pay attention. Purple mumble, let's get this stuff sorted. Halfway. More. Too much. Not enough. A bit more. Just right. Mmm. Oh, it smells so nice in here. Yeah, so MSAJ, for those of you that come into this stream later, Emsaj is my long-suffering husband, or am I his long-suffering wife? I don't know, perhaps we're both suffering. And he plays guitar and sings and does covers and writes his own stuff, and yeah. Make sure you log in and follow him at some point. That would be much appreciated. And Fluffy Cheeseburger is number one son. Our number one son, who looks like me, but he's definitely his dad's. I can verify from the size of his head. And Fluffy Cheeseburger plays, or has learnt to play bass guitar online, and often live streams that, and he also live streams video gaming. So at some point, if you want to pop in and say hi to Fluffy Cheeseburger, I'm sure he would much appreciate it. I think good at these live shout out things, aren't they? Pumpkin, pumpkin everywhere, but no pumpkin pie yet to eat. I keep licking my fingers. Oh, I love pumpkin. I love it savoury, I love it sweet, I love it, I don't know, I don't love it raw. Raw would give me a sore throat probably, but savoury and sweet, yum. Right. Emsaj, you are not answering me. I have asked if you would please write this recipe down for me. Pretty please. Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna do it? If you are, then I'll rattle off what the ingredients are. He said to talk and he will type it up. Right. Can you hear me when I'm talking over the mixer? Can you hear me when I'm talking over the mixer? Can you hear me when I'm talking over the mixer? Right, good, so we'll keep going. Right, to make this, we need 3 cups of cooked pumpkin gloop. So that is about 675 grams of cooked pumpkin, which I think is kind of roughly a can, those American cans. Maybe it's 2 cans, I don't know. 3 cups of cooked pumpkin gloop. 1 cup of sugar. I like to use raw sugar. You can use white sugar. 1.5 teaspoon of, that's teaspoon, TSP, of ground cinnamon. Am I going too fast? 1 teaspoon TSP of ground cloves. 1 teaspoon TSP of ground allspice, or you might call it mixed spice. And in this recipe, I've used 1.5 teaspoons of ground ginger, and 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 4 large eggs, and then 1 can of evaporated milk. So 1 can is about 12 fluid ounces, or 355 mils, with another 1/2 can to make it up to 18 fluid ounces, or 530 mils, there on abouts, of regular milk on top. So you need 1.5 cans of assorted milks. I used skim milk, but you can use soy milk. You don't have to use, uh-oh, there's a life flight helicopter coming in again. Uncertain world we're in at the moment. Yeah, so you don't have to use regular old milk. You can use soy, you can use almond milk, you can use whatever milk you want. You don't have to top up that evaporated milk with milk. You could use cream, you could use water if you wanted to, but it's not quite such a rich flavour. But don't use 1.5 cans of cream. That will be way too rich. Let me have a look. Okay, cool, you're awesome. 3 cups of cooked pumpkin goop, excellent. 1 cup of raw sugar, 1 cup of sugar, any will do. 1.5, no, teaspoon, not tablespoon, 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. 1 teaspoon of cloves, you got that one right, awesome. 1 teaspoon of mixed spice, yes. 1.5 teaspoons of ground ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, half a teaspoon of salt, 4 large eggs, 1 can of evaporated milk, 18 fluid ounces. So yeah, actually it's 1 can is 12 fluid ounces, but you want 1.5 cans, but close enough. That's awesome. You've got it on a Word document. Hero, thank you, husband. Can you put a link to that onto my page for me? Nutmage, like a wizard. Awesome. Right, let me have a little peek and see what's happening inside this oven. Is there a mess? Oh God, I daren't open it. It's all remained intact. Another 30 minutes to go. Let me keep measuring out my pumpkin gloop. Blitz that up a little bit more. Oh, let me scrape down the sides. Where's my scraper? Where's my child depriver? There it is. Right, baking times and temperatures. So, heat the oven up to 210 Celsius or 425 Fahrenheit. Yep, nutmeg. Like a girl named Meg who's a nut. There you go. And it needs to go in at that temperature for 15 minutes. So this makes 2 pies. So what did I say those pie sizes were? It was 21 centimetres, wasn't it? 21 centimetres, which is about 8.5 inch diameter dishes. It'll make 2 pies like that, plus use the scraps to make chef's bowl. You want to put that, fill those dishes with sweet pastry. I like sweet short crust pastry in mine, but I've got a puff pastry in there as well, or a flaky pastry. So line both those 2 baking dishes, and then any scraps you have, you just sling that into a third smaller bowl. Temperature again was heat the oven to 210 Celsius or 425 degrees Fahrenheit. There you go. Pour your mixture about 2/3 up the size of your pastry lined dishes and pop them into the oven. Put something around the edge foil if you don't have those lovely little pie crust rings, just to protect the edges of your pastry so they don't burn. And you cook it for 15 minutes. Then you need to turn down the oven to 175 Celsius, which is about 350 Fahrenheit, for another 45 to 60 minutes, or until a sharp knife, you stick a knife in, and when it comes out clean, then you know it's good to eat. You need to let it cool, of course, because otherwise it's not going to set up well inside your dish. And you serve it with whipped cream or ice cream. We will be sampling when it's very, very hot and without whipped cream or ice cream, the chef's dish when it's ready and cooked, which we've got another 26 minutes or so on yet. Actually, I will just try that chef's one because it is a smaller bowl, so it may be quicker. I can't even talk now. Where's my little sharp knife? I'm going to use you. And my oven gloves. Let's just try this small one, see how she's doing. Oh, you know what? That one's about ready. I'm going to lift this one out. The big one is still wet. I'll try this top one. Ooh, the top one's nearly done. Top one's nearly done. The little pie's ready. Shall I bring it over? Do you want to see the little one? What was the second timing temperature? So you heat the oven for the heat at 210 for the first 15 minutes. You've already got that, yeah? So that's 210 or Celsius or 425 Fahrenheit. That's for the first 15 minutes. Then you turn down the oven, leave the pies in there, to 175 Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit for another 45 to 60 minutes. You want to see this pie? Do you want to see my pie? Let me flick the cameras around so you can be suitably impressed. The big food shot. No, that's not the big food, that is my coaster. This is the big food shot. Looks a bit lame actually. I'm telling you, it's going to taste good. So you basically want to stick a sharp knife in. Let me show you what the knife should look like when you stab it. No, you're not slow cooking it. It's not slow cook. It's just a cooler cook. Look at that. See how it comes out clean? If you stick your knife in and it comes out wet, like goopy, kind of like if I stuck it into here right now, it comes out looking like that, not ready. So you've got to let it cool. Yeah, a bit like cupcake. Keep licking my fingers. I know it's naughty, but it's so good. Yeah. So you'll know because if you grab your dish as well, be very careful how you do this, because if you've overfilled it, it's going to make a huge mess. But if you shake it, see how it doesn't slop around on the sides at all? It's quite solid, and if you press it, it's quite firm to the touch. It won't do that if it's not cooked. You'll end up with a nasty mess. Right, so this is all blitzed up. Let me finish ladling this out, and then we can get to having a taste test. What do I need in here? 225, don't I? Oh, you gave me a subscription. No, I didn't notice. I'm really lame. I'm really, really lame. I miss out on stuff, and I tell you what, if there was a double-decker bus coming at me right now, I'd probably not even notice it. So thank you. That's really kind of you. Thank you for the subscription. Shall I want this to cool off. If we try and eat this right now, it's going to be way too hot and you're just not going to get the effect. So you're just going to have to give me another 10 minutes or so, just so it can cool off enough. And then number one son and I will taste test it live for you. So let me slide this slightly to the side here. I'll show you what I'm doing here. And that's in the way if I put that there. Let me do that a little bit and that to there. There you go. See, these are my 1 cup measures of pumpkin gloop. So did we find out, have you tried this Hokey Pokey ice cream? I'm just reusing the container here, because I like to reuse when I can. You can do 10 minutes, that's awesome. Tell me when I'm getting close to 10 minutes. I'll see if I can remember. Actually, when there's 10 minutes left on that timer, then I'll call number one son in, and hopefully this will be cool enough for us to have a live taste test for you guys. Get this mixer out of the way. It's had its abuse for the day. It's done very well. This mixer has travelled all the way around the world with us and it's still going strong. I don't know what I'm going to do when it gives up the ghost. But it's German made, so I'm sure it'll keep going. Oh, thank you, Emsage. Let me make sure that recipe is right. 3 cups of cooked pumpkin, $6.75. 1 cup of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, well done. 1 teaspoon ground cloves, 1 teaspoon ground allspice or mixed spice, 1.5 teaspoons of ground ginger and 1/2 teaspoons of ground nutmeg, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 4 large eggs, 1 can of evaporated milk, 1/2 can of regular milk to add to the evaporated milk. Preheat oven to 425 to 10, bake for 15 minutes. Or you probably need to say it needs to go into 2 separate dishes. It makes 2 dishes, because otherwise someone's going to try and put that into 1 and it's going to make a horrendous mess. 2 dishes, 2 separate dishes and a chef's leftover dish. 425, bake for 15 minutes, then 50 minutes, turn down, 350, 175 for another 45 to 60 minutes, or until the knife and silk comes out clean. Woohoo! Boom! That's awesome. You guys are just super. I got some great people looking after me here. I just got to get on with the cooking, man. This is one of those last minute Okay, yeah, no, let's make pumpkin pie this afternoon kind of deals, and I was completely ill-prepared, as you can tell from the lack of the correct pastry in the house. One thing I like about streaming is I can just talk and talk and talk, and no one tells me to shut up. Word document updated. I emailed it to you. Oh, you're my hero. Thank you. Right. Are you able to stick it on my stream, hubby? I mean, not my stream, but you know, so someone can link to it later on and print it off if they want to. We'll need to add the bit about amount of dishes. Makes 2 bars. Well, I guess that's a no then, huh? I'm not certain that I'll be able to put it up there. I tell you, you guys have worked together great as a team. Teacher would be proud. Right. This ice cream container gets labelled with 1 cup measures, pumpkin, gloop. Today is 24/3/20. Or if you're in the States, it's 3/24/20. Unless you're in the military, then it's 24/3/20. I'll try to miss that later. You're my hero. Thank you, sweetheart. So those, I need to go find some space inside my freezer because I've stocked up my freezer ready for lockdown. Whoopsies. And lockdown at the moment for us is going to be a month. Oops. Yeah, someone, you know, I've got a lot of pressure from my family to, you need to do some online cooking and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. Like, oh no, it's okay, we'll do the IT bit for you. Don't worry, you just get in there and you do that. You know, I'm happy to keep cooking if someone else will do the IT stuff, because, yeah, no, I'll just focus on the cooking part of it. Thank you guys, my heroes. So YouTube is a website. And he's done that for me as well, so thank you. I do appreciate you, honey. I wish you could try the pie, but I know you'll like it. There will be other pies, I promise you. I hate to waste any of this. You go to so much effort of blitzing it down and cooking it and everything else. The last thing you want to do is waste any. Right, we all want pie. Yeah. So this has got to, what do you want to say, 535? 525. Probably going to get 1 more cup out of this and it'll be done. Actually, I don't think I'll get a cup out of it. Don't think there's a cup's worth in there. Worst idea for me to watch. Now I'm hungry and I can't have pie. You can have pie, you just got to go and get a pumpkin and make yourself a pie with your daughter. We want to see this. Look at those, what's ice buds? Just a wee cup of tea. You know what, is it time to yell for the sun? No, not yet, not quite. Let's just see how much more pumpkin we've got. I've got lots of tea and lots of biscuits ready for lockdown. So I was walking around the supermarket and everybody's going crazy over toilet paper and hand sanitizer, of which there was none left. Nobody's buying anything fresh. Can't understand why, because you'd still need fresh fruit and veg, but Muppets are buying pizzas and stuff. So I loaded up on biscuits. There was no crisps left apparently. I wasn't looking in the crisp aisle, but, or potato chips you call them. Or you might call them, depending upon where you're from. But I wasn't looking for that anyway. I just made sure I had plenty of bickies and tea bags. The end of the world is nigh. And if it comes to the end of the world, if I've got a cup of tea and bickies, she'll be right. She'll be sweet as, bro. Oh, we've got somebody else here. Hey, at Lemon Juices 12. I'm not seeing Lemon Juices 12. But if Lemon Juices 12, if you're there, hi. Thank you for joining us. I may not have noticed you popping into the stream. Maybe you're lurking in the background. Come on in, everybody. Everybody's welcome. We're getting ready to have a wee taste of homemade from scratch, apart from the pastry, because I suck at pastry. Pumpkin pie. I'm just salvaging the last of my pumpkin goop. Pop it into the freezer. So if we have more need for these during these desperate times for pumpkin pie, then hopefully I can produce some. And hopefully I'll have the right pastry in the freezer as well. Or I might have to ask my neighbour over the fence, can you make me some pastry and send it back? But no contact. 2 meters of social distancing. At least. Strange world we live in at the moment, isn't it? Everybody's feeling very uncertain. Understandably so. We've got to be careful. And I'm not making jokes here. We have to be careful. Too many people have not been careful. I'd say we're in a 1-month-long lockdown as of midnight tonight. And we've all got to adhere to it. Because that's the only way that we're going to be able to control this virus. If people are going to be out there and being stupid, then we'll have to extend that 1-month period, I guess. Women are now looking over at their man, wondering if they can hunt, make a fire, fight, shoot, etc. Now they're second-guessing those skinny jeans. Yeah, exactly. And they've just started a 3-week curfew in the UK. Well, I think they start it as of midnight tonight, UK time, which I guess, actually I'm not certain, is it? No, I'm not certain when they're going to do it. If it's already started because they've rolled over midnight, or if it's then midnight on the Wednesday night, I don't know. We have zero idea what the heck is going on there. Fighting over legislation. I'm like, seriously, people, put political mindset aside. What we've got to do is fight for everybody's right to survival. I mean, that's got to be the #1 concern here, because people are dying. We have no vaccine. We don't have the medical facilities in enough of an amount to keep people alive. We've got to do something. Both sides need to be shot, and we need a new party, absolutely. Right, shall I call #1 son in? This is cool enough now. I can just about hold that bowl. Please bear with. Me go yodel at the boy. Oi. 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 Do you want to stop doing that? Do you want to come and have a taste of the chef's bowl? Sure. It's still hot, but hopefully it's cold enough that it won't thermonuclear rip out the inside of your mouth. He's coming. He's in there doing VR stuff. Waving his arms around like a maniac. Right, let me get a couple of spoons out. The camera is pulsing to the... Oh gosh, yes, so it is. Sorry, let me see if I can fix this for you. I have to configure the video, and then I have to turn that beast off. Save. Is that better?
Oh, it smells like pumpkin pie in here.
Just move the pie closer. Here is your weapon. Let me just close this. Oh, it's looking very fuzzy now, isn't it? I turned the autofocus off because it was going boom, boom, boom. Oh, let's kill that.
Pull the autofocus back up again. Drag that one down.
Down there. And this way.
Bing bong.
Hey, there she goes. Well, what we want to do is swap this around because they want to see you. They want to see you eating this. Get your face in. Get this up.
Don't mind the VR hat.
Right. Honest opinion, remember this? The honesty. Oh, hang on a minute though. If it's not Eggs Benny, it doesn't get a 10.
Wow. That is true, so it's a 9.
It's horrible, isn't it? Don't make it.
Hot.
Don't make it. Yep, number 1 fixed it.
It's good.
We should have a dotted line in here. There's one side. There. Oops. Eat a long dotted line. Is it hot? You're getting all the slurpy sounds. So what score did it get?
9.
9. 9.
9, 9, 9.
9. That's right, isn't it? And there's 8 minutes left on those ones in the oven.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, not too like that. Not too like that. I'm looking over here because that's where I can see me, so you're over there.
Go for the
It's like that.
version.
Or it's like that.
Look at that. Scuba diving way. 9.
9. 9. It's just awful, isn't it? But you see, it's got like a fluffiness to it. Yum.
Gang symbols.
You stick your pie over my side. Get your pie to yourself.
Work in the morning. You're not on lockdown yet.
Oh no! 11:23 at night. Ugh. Oh, thank you for joining me, Kay Cool. It was lovely to have you on board. Thanks for all of your help, guys, for pulling that recipe together. Good to see you, M. Sarge. We'll have a chat in a wee short while. I think we can probably knock this stream on the head now, so. Whew. Hot.
It's hot.
Hot, hot.
Well, you went out, Cat.
So is this worth doing a raid, husbands? Should I be raiding somebody here? I think it's just the 3 of us, isn't it?
Not the
Just the 3. I won't be doing a raid. Yep, come see me on YouTube. Oh gosh, heaven forbid. I couldn't do my hair for YouTube. It's lovely to have you. It's wonderful. Oh, you can raid before I go. Can you do that? Because you'll be quicker at it than I will, because I'll be faffing around.
Hey, Dad, can you set a raid, please?
Hey, Dad, can you set a raid, please? Is he even paying attention? He's visualizing. Thank you, hubby. Thank
now
you,
number
Kay
2.
Cool. It's
No.
been.
I've been demoted.
Yeah. Yep, you do the work. Thank you, hubby. Much
Pumpkin
appreciated.
is so healthy.
Yeah, healthy pie. Forget about that 1 cup of sugar that went in there. So, how do we? Are you doing the raid? Will that pop up on my doodah? Will I be able to see who we've raided off to?
There.
Oh, it'll come up there. Yep, that's the way it works. It's number 1, so I'm going to do the dishes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Ooh. You say it like it's a surprise.
Ta-da! He's doing the dishes. He's doing the dishes. I tried to be good. I try to like recycle and reuse most of my stuff, so it's not been
Juice,
too much.
reuse, recycle.
That's me.
Tidy Kiwi.
That's me. They're not recycling this year.
Oh,
Or this
really?
month. Wade, cooking without looking. So what happens now? Thank you.
When this goes down,
Yep.
then it will be
And how will I know? What do I click on to get the thingy up?
you don't need to.
It'll just pop into there and I can make a chat on it.
Mhm.
Thank you, K-Cool. It's been lovely having you on board. Please make your pumpkin pie with your daughter. I'd love to see you streaming that. That'd be wonderful. Or send us some photos. That'd be nice too.